4th down, the final play.
What is up?
Can stick it in the end zone.
Buckeye.
Dorsey under pressure, throws it. Incomplete. The Buckeyes win. Ezekiel Elliott, and he's got an opening. Elliott off to the races. Can they catch him?
Feature the two backs as receivers, and now a downfield shot on first down for the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio State strikes first. Making adjustments again, and there is Smith rolling free, breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly from 45 yards. Pressure comes. Saul, knock it out, and picks it up. Jack Saul, coming down the sidelines. Ohio State scoop and score and dagger from 82 yards. Here they come. Heavy pressure. Howard delivers downfield. It's Smith. He's got it. Jeremiah Smith. The 2025 College Football National Champion, Coach Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Welcome in, Buckeye backers. We are bringing it to you live from Seattle, Washington, to the cornfields of Enid, Ohio. We are the pulse of Buckeye fans across the nation, with Seattle Matt and Buckeye Steve. What is up? Welcome in, Buckeye backers. Just another day, another glorious day of being a Buckeye. Just got back from the Woody Hayes Athletic Facility, and I always say facility. I don't know why center, but man, oh man, this is a team for the ages. And now we got to go to Purdue, West Lafayette, where Ryan Day was the offensive coordinator in 2018 with a massive loss to Purdue. So Ryan Day knows a little bit about this West Lafayette, what you want to call it, a curse. Lost 49-20. One of those, Iowa the year before in 2017. Then you do this. Those were just those nasty games that kept us out of the playoffs, man. And here we are going to West Lafayette again. What do you guys' opening impression getting to Purdue? Are we going to steal the show?
You can go ahead, Brian.
I don't know. I think I ran the model, and looks like should be another good day for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I think this model's telling us good things.
Yeah,
and to me, I think there's really nothing good about Purdue. Nothing that they've done. They've hung in there with a couple teams. The last couple games have been close, but this should be an absolute wasting, and there's nothing really that they're going to do offensively or defensively.
But not so fast, my friend.
Oh, statistical challenge! You throwing the red flag?
Yes, I'm gonna throw the red flag. If you want to throw, gonna give Purdue some flowers. They actually do something well. And going through all the stats for this week, I don't know if you want to go ahead and pull it up, but their defensive front line is actually ranked 31st in the nation in generating sacks and 33rd in the nation in generating tackles for loss. However, rest of the stats there not looking so good. Hence, that's why the model is what it is.
They're actually tied with Ohio State in tackles for loss per game. Wow, 33rd.
Yeah. Yep.
That's actually pretty impressive.
Right.
Which is one of the reasons why today, Ryan Day talked highly of Barry Odom. In fact, today in his press conference, he even said, he's had talks with Barry Odom about coming to Ohio State years in the past, obviously. And those were conversations, probably setting up for the future. Like, hey, this is a dude that might be one of those ones that could come when we need him. If things work out, obviously they didn't. He's at Purdue right now. And we got Matt Patricia, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, everything you read about him or see about him on the field with the players is absolutely true. Like, it's not blowing smoke. Today, he was one of the last coaches to leave. I was out there in the lobby in the Woody Hayes, and he comes out, just says hi to everyone. every single person out there said hi. There weren't a lot of us left out there, but anyone walking through, coaches from other teams, janitors, he's going to make sure to say hi to you and make sure you're having a good day. And he asked me if I needed anything. I was like, no, man, thanks. Just one of those guys that's like Midwest nice. I know he's not Midwesterner, but he talks to everyone and he wears his heart on his sleeve, man.
Yeah. However much money we need to raise to keep this guy in Columbus for at least 3 more years at minimum, I think we should just throw the kitchen sink at him, because this guy, I mean, he's not only made an impact on the field more so than we've had in a long time, he's making an impact off the field as well in these players' lives and everything like that. And, I've said it before and I'll say it again, like, I could count on literally no fingers anytime that any of our players like spoke super highly and said how they love their defensive coordinator last year and the year before that and the year before that. So, and now it seems like every day, he's getting more and more new praise from his players, even ones that aren't even starting. It was a rare find, and, things tend to work out, like last year we had Bill O'Brien coming in as our OC. Then all of a sudden things worked out. He got to go be Boston College coach, and then in comes Chip Kelly. Offense hums for the most part outside of one game. And then this year, Jim Knowles leaves us before the championship celebration, and we get blessed with an even better DC. So
blessed, absolutely.
I just cannot wait for this man in particular to be the biggest reason responsible for why we beat the team up north this year. That is going to be comedy.
What I don't know is what the hell's going on up there in the Motor City in Detroit, where they wanted to get rid of him. They chased him out as fast as they could. I don't know what's different about the man now than he was then, or what's different about Ohio State. Maybe it's Ohio State.
It was their front office. They didn't have Chris Spielman in an important role then. Then they hired him, and he made moves in that front office, including getting Dan Campbell as their head coach. And now it just runs like a well-oiled machine up there because they got competent people in there. The front office,
maybe
in the NFL, they can really screw up a lot, even if
they
you're
do
the
a real
best
good job
coach
of
ever.
screwing up the Bengals. That's
I mean, like they can really, you can have all the talent in the world and your team still won't win if you got a front office that's like screwing you out of things. So,
well, you could also make the argument too that maybe, for all of, Matt Patricia's, positives and negatives, maybe he's just really good at just being a DC, he did phenomenally, under Bill Belichick and won 3 Super Bowls over there, had some really good defenses. Sometimes, things just don't work out, when you're, quote unquote, the guy, he comes here and we, Steve, we were having the conversation earlier before the show, and I mentioned this in prior shows, having been involved in the military, man, it honestly, it gives me goosebumps. And, watching, the Downs to the Downs brothers, having him on the show today, watching Matt Patricia, interact with the players all season, man, it literally gives me goosebumps when you see how Knowles interacted with the team last year. And, I was a Knowles fan. I was posting and tweeting about him all last season. And that team was number 1 defense all last year. And Steve, we were discussing it before the show. There's a difference in a good team, a good organization, a good business, and an elite team, business, organization. There's a difference. And that difference is the intangibles. And you see those intangibles. You see it when you look at Matt Patricia and his face to face with Caden McDonald. I don't know if you saw that picture, and you just see the energy between them. You see the energy. Yeah. And you see the energy, in the faces between him and the players when he's hugging them, before and after all the games. And there's that one picture that, just speaks volumes to me, that was taken after a practice, well after a practice, where he's sitting on a bench and he's talking with Sonny and he's talking with Caleb well after a practice. And again, having been involved with business, having been involved with the military, everyone knows that's when shit gets done.
Yeah.
It's well after everyone's gone. That's when stuff gets done. And it's not even, you don't even have to be talking business and talking shop. That's when you get to know the people around you. Yeah. That's when you truly connect with people.
That's my brother from another mother.
Exactly. And like we said before the show, that's when you truly build a bond where when you're in a foxhole with someone, that person has your back. And that's, again, where you go from a great team to an elite team. And that's what we're watching. And you can't replicate that. You cannot replicate that. And we're lucky enough to be able to watch that. And again, like you mentioned, Alex, I really hope Matt Patricia stays. And you hear him talk about how his family loves it here.
Yep.
I hope he stays.
And I feel like a bit. Go ahead.
He was talking today in the lobby about his son, football season's over and, trying out for basketball and maybe doing wrestling. Cause I don't think the tryouts were great for basketball, but maybe the kid's a wrestler. But anyway, beside the point, man, he's just a personal guy. It sounds like his family loves it here in Columbus. It also, it sounds like it's a fit. That's the biggest thing. If you're happy, they're making millions of dollars anyway. You want to make a few million more in the NFL? Yeah, but are you going to be happy? Are you going to be in a culture that suits you? Are you going to be the champ? Are people in the stands going to be holding a number 2 pencil? I don't think they're going to be doing that anywhere else in the NFL. I mean, that's what's cool. That's what's cool about college football. That's why he needs to stay. And you're right. There's something to be said about the stress of moving as a coach, moving around here, moving around there.
And the job security. And the job security aspect. Because in the NFL, you have a lot less job security, even if you're doing well. Like at a drop of a hat, you could just, you can get fired in the NFL real quick. So I think that plus just college football kind of becoming like the NFL. I think those were big things that enticed him to be like, what? I want to give college a try. And I think, like you both said, he loves it here now. I think he'd stay just because he just loves it and doesn't, feel like going back to the NFL. We could just convince him to stay, which would be fine by me.
Yeah, someone mentioned Coach P being on the Downs podcast, and I think I had reposted this. That's freaking awesome for recruits. Coach P talking about Caleb, saying, "Hey, what is an NFL team going to get when they draft Caleb?" And he was just gushing, talking about Caleb. You're going to get a face of a franchise. And I think I posted this. I mean, Caleb knows he's special. He knows he's going to go to the NFL and he's going to do great. But I mean, you got to think that even still, you're going to have a little bit of insecurities, right? I mean, just like, and I don't want to minimize it. I mean, just like when you go off, in your middle school and you go off to high school and you're like, oh man, I'm going to high school, and, you go off to college for the first time, you're going to have a little bit of insecurities. And as great as a player he is, I'm sure deep down inside, he's having a little bit of insecurities about, man, I'm going to the league next year. And, he's probably got a little bit of insecurities, but how much of a freaking confidence boost is it that he's got 3-time Super Bowl winning DC who coached right next to Bill Belichick, 6-time winning Super Bowl champ, winningest Super Bowl coach in history, telling him, bro, you're not just going to be a good player. You're going to be the face of a franchise. I mean, what kind of confidence boost is that to Caleb? And again, I mean, that's got to be freaking awesome for recruits to know, like, I'm going to walk in and I got that DC teaching me NFL schemes from day one. I'm going to be NFL ready when I go off, just like Caleb, just like Arvell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, God, it's freaking awesome.
You know what else is awesome? What this coffee cup reminds me of? Beating Oregon in the Rose Bowl.
Gotcha. I was like, I don't know where he's going with this.
That's why I drink out of a green cup, because it was one of the best days of my life. You know, my
if those CFP rankings stay, we could play them in the quarterfinals.
Yeah. Well,
probably won't.
The Big Ten winners are going to the Rose Bowl again. And I promised myself one thing after going to the Rose Bowl last year. I will never miss a game in the Rose Bowl that Ohio State plays in. So guess I'm going back to the Rose Bowl if they beat Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. They got to take care of business on the 29th.
Yes.
But until then,
please.
God willing. Yeah, it's got to happen. Are we going to look ahead? Do we want to talk more about Purdue and how
we should? I mean, listen, Purdue up until the cheaters up north beat us the last 4 years, or us beating ourselves the last 2. I mean, they had the most wins against us of any Big Ten team. I mean, if you remember John Cooper's last year, they beat us 31-27 in West Lafayette. 2004, they beat us 24-17 in West Lafayette. 2009, they beat Terrell Pryor in West Lafayette 26-18. A couple years later, the 2011 season, we all know that was a shit show. That was 26-23 in West Lafayette. And you guessed it, 2018 in West Lafayette, 49-20. They beat us in that horrific game with Rondell Moore. Now, I mean, the last couple years we beat them by a combined total of 86-7. So the odds are looking pretty good for us to do virtually the same type of thing again. But you can West Lafayette's a house of horrors, boys, for Ohio State. So you can never, and I mean, they almost beat us in 2002 there as well. So Purdue's always been kind of just like this thorn in the side that just wants to ruin our day. But I don't think we have anything to worry about personally. The Wolverines are just a trash team that struggled against them last week. So we should be all right.
Maccabee, he's a good runner, man. Devin Maccabee, he's fun to watch. He seems like he's been there forever. I don't even know what year he is, but he's a tough running back. Averaging 4.2 yards per carry for the 17th place in the Big Ten team, Purdue. I mean, that's rough, 2-7. But
and we took their entire offense last year.
Close up. Yeah, we did. They have no tight end anymore, huh?
Mm. You're getting a little laggy, Steve.
Yeah.
But
I thought that was kind of cold.
Is it getting any better?
Kind of cold on the Ohio State promo. They put Claire on the cover. Thought that was kind of cold.
That's fun.
Yeah. Got to, man. Ohio State's they've been really killing it, dude. Like their video board.
Yeah.
Getting Jim Knowles in the background.
Going back and forth between Patricia and Knowles.
I mean, that's awesome, dude.
I do another show sometimes, and those guys felt it was like really childish. And I said, I'm like, listen, I'm done being above the board for people. I'm done being the respectful one, take the high road guy. Nah, we've been disrespected way too much, especially by one team and fan base in particular the last 4 years. I'm all for being the biggest douchebag about anything we can be.
Oh, we know that.
And I fully expect, if we win in Ann Arbor for our players to go to that M and butt scoot on it like they're a dog.
That's where I draw the line.
No, I would do that in a heartbeat.
After the game, you don't do anything. Before the game, leading up to it, if you want to tear that banner down like they did in, I think it was 79, that was awesome. Some of that stuff is what the rivalry is all about. I was okay with Michigan going and flag planting. I was okay with Ohio State responding. It just should have stopped when they tore the flag up. Everyone needed to go the separate ways and be done with it. Like they made their point. It's just that Michigan kept going, and that's where it went to Mace and where they couldn't let these players, fist fight in the midfield anymore. It is what it is. It's part of the rivalry. And guess what? Some people probably didn't like it that Charles Woodson and Boston were shaking each other's face mask either, but they did, and it's awesome and it's iconic. And that play and that flag being ripped out of Michigan's hand and that flag planting It's going to go on forever. It's part of the rivalry now. It's going to be on every clip.
I would butt scoot all over that M after the
My
game.
goodness.
And I dare them to do anything about it afterwards. I'm tired of this whole take the high road, just walk off the field. It speaks louder than any action, other action. Now, F that. Disrespect them.
I got to get back into our locker room, man. Sage, Ohio, 1864, has been in the locker room all the time. Sage, you're officially a member of the locker room. You got your black stripe removed. One of these hats, if you get a hold of me and a place to send it, is coming out to you. Doug Shepard's going to get one. I still haven't sent it out yet, Doug. I apologize. And Temple of Brutus, you earned it too. Temple's in here. Get a hold of me any way you can to send me an address and direct message me somewhere, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on X. You're a member of the locker room. You're getting a hat. Steely Matt, same. All right. And I'll send yours to Southern California because I know you have some nice photos in your Twitter feed.
So Sage says, I am confident this far into the season, the offense can be successful with whatever the running game can give. I'd like to actually address that.
Yeah.
So right now, Ohio
Is
State.
that a statistical challenge?
Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Excuse my French. Yes, that is a statistical challenge. So right now, Ohio State is ranked 74th in rushing offense. And that is when you sort it by yards per game. And I feel like that's not doing us justice because you have to take a couple things into account here. One of those things is a lot has been said about the pace by which we play. And, a lot of people have talked about that. And I even did a whole study on this. And I think when you look at the offense and the defensive side of the ball and accounting for the entire college football, 136 teams, right now we will play one whole less game compared to the average.
Mm-hmm.
So that means we're going to have less yards. So again, we're 74th right now in rushing yards per game. So to me, the better statistic to look at in our rushing game is what's our average? How many yards do we average per carry? And right now, we are 46th in the country. Like that's respectable. We are getting 4.64 yards. And the team that I like to pick on the most right now is Bama. And right now, Alabama is ranked 114th in total yards, rushing yards per game. And when you break it down by rushing average, it gets even worse. Alabama is ranked 117th in the nation in rushing average. So, I mean, we're not doing too bad. When we need to run the ball, we're not doing too bad, especially when you consider our issues, we've been talked about with, running backs and contact and, getting the cut and some of the things that are going on with the offensive line. We're not doing too bad. I think we're going to be okay. So that's my statistical challenge on the run game there.
I think we're rotating too many running backs. I think that's part of the problem too. Rotating 4 running backs is a little bizarre. I think if we could cut it down to 3 and keep that like a main thing, I would like to see more of just Isaiah West and Bo Jackson itself, and maybe like plug in Peoples here and there. But I think this whole, and I mean CJ, it wasn't entirely his fault that we lost the possession because of that fumble. I mean, he fumbled it. That's his fault. But that play should have been whistled dead like a second and a half before that anyway.
I mean, if that's the worst thing you get and we get a downs, maybe it should have been targeting and they didn't label it targeting.
It absolutely. And honestly, they should have just let it stand because do we really need him against Purdue? Probably not. But I just love how everybody, especially Wolverines, are bitching about it. I saw a Wolverine player was asked about it today and said, we all know how it is with OSU and their refs. I'm like, oh, we're still going on about this almost 10 years later that somehow Ohio State's the only college football team that has their own refs.
It was this far.
Like,
from my vantage point, it was this far.
I'm like, guys, like, the conferences themselves supply these refs. We don't do that. Like, I don't know. They got that excuse preloading in case they lose up in Ann Arbor, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, obviously the running game isn't where we want it by any means. But I think we'll continue to improve on it. It doesn't need to be spectacular. I'd like it to be top 50. I think.
Let me ask you something. Where was our yards per game the last 2 games compared to the rest of the season?
How do you mean?
How many yards do we have rushing the last 2 games compared to our average? Has our average gone up? Oh, I wouldn't have it. I guess.
You mean our rushing average?
Total yards compared to the average per game.
Total.
Because we hardly rushed the ball at Wisconsin, so I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know right offhand. I feel like our
how many rushing yards do we have last game?
I feel like our average is going up. Let me see.
I'm telling you though, if we just stuck to our identity offensively, which is being pass first, that run game will open up so much more. So we just got to know to start out with the pass to set up the run. And if we stick to that, we'll be successful in both regards. It's just par for the course. And against this defense, I mean, you guys put it up earlier. Purdue's tied for 95th in total defense, 91st in rush defense, and 91st in pass yards allowed. So this should easily be like a 40 spot type of game. We shouldn't even have to play slow because we won't need that many plays to score all those touchdowns that we're going to score.
Yeah, against Penn State, we had 164 as a team, and Bo Jackson averaged 8.1 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And then against Wisconsin, we had 98 as a team, and Isaiah West averaged 6.1 yards.
Here's my thinking. I think naturally the rushing yards will go up with more passing.
Yeah.
Because it's going to open up later on. Offenses are designed different ways, and Ryan Day's trying to really practice and push the run game because number one, he knew he could rely on the defense. Number two, he knew the passing game could take over anytime he wanted it to. And that's what we've seen. That's been this team is just superior in every way to every team, and everyone knows it now. It's kind of hard to say that they're not. Just look at they're toying with teams to practice for later on.
Yeah.
Right.
How crazy is that?
And
it's obvious. I mean, everyone knows they're doing it.
Brian mentioned it, and obviously we talked about it, how, we're methodically doing this to play less plays to preserve ourselves in the long run. I actually saw today it's trending more towards, because we're doing that, it's trending more towards 1.5 to 2 games less played right now. Because that's
depends on the team that you compare it to. 2 games was for comparing it to Oregon, which is trying to get as many snaps as they can.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's realistically true, and that's our strategy, it's working, and I love it, and it's gonna allow us to thrive in December into January.
And this is a good point too. Also, remember our 2 best rushers are freshmen, and the other 2 first-year starters. Absolutely right. I think there's more to this rushing game that we're probably going to see as the passing game airs it out more. What was interesting to me about the Penn State game, and how I'm going to love to see how the DBs play our wide receivers as in this Purdue game, because Penn State was almost like expecting us to do those short intermediate routes where they're running their curl or they're running their outside, because they were kind of jumping on those routes, and that's how we beat them deep a couple times, because what they're seeing on film as a DB is like, hey, we got to jump for these short ones because he's going to do the curl here, so I'm going to wait here. I know he's going to do it. They're not running anything deep because all the defenses have been playing deep to keep everything in front. And then they got burned a couple times because they were playing on averages. They were playing what they saw on film.
Yeah, and you heard Day talk about one of those long pass plays that they got where he shouted, "Got him." That was something that was installed. That was something that was installed at halftime, and that they didn't even practice.
Yeah, they drew that in the sandbox over halftime.
Well, again, because they saw the DBs jumping the routes, jumping those shorter routes, intermediate routes. They knew that on film, Penn State DBs had seen that most of the passes are coming out quick and they're coming out short. So let's jump that and take that away. Because it's like, pick your poison. What are you going to do? You're going to try to make Ohio State beat you methodically down the field with short passes, or you're going to give away the deep pass? Well, they were finally like, those deep passes aren't coming, so let's jump the short ones, and we can't let them beat us like that. So whatever teams do, these receivers and Julian Sain, the way he's playing is crazy.
Do you want to get into that now? We just published an article. We can talk about that a little bit. And I know I had put out a tweet kind of just playfully a couple weeks ago comparing Burrow and 2019 and Julian Sain, and a lot of people.
Well, and let me ask you something. Was it just about the deep ball? Was that all it was?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't just the deep ball, but that was a lot to do with that, but it wasn't just the deep ball. It was other stats that went into it. But I playfully was talking about it, and then I think we got, I don't know, it was like 150,000 impressions, and people, especially the LSU folks, man, they eviscerated me.
Oh yeah, of course.
And what was funny is
that you met with a product of Ohio.
What's that?
That went to LSU.
Yeah, right. But what was funny is that Stan actually went on the Caleb Downs podcast, and he actually said that I model my game after Burrow.
After Burrow, absolutely.
Yeah, and then after
who wouldn't want to model their game after Burrow, though?
No, exactly. And then after the last game, I went through and started looking at the deep ball stats, and I think I had mentioned it in our CFP show on Monday. I felt like I had solved a cold case. I was looking at the stats, and I don't know if you have that graphic that AZ Buckeye had made for us, but I was just mind blown. If you have it to pull up, but just the deep ball stats, just comparing those, everyone knows that Burrow. He had through just 8 games, he had more volume. So, but if you look at just the deep ball attempts, 20 plus air yards, Burrow through 8 games had 35 deep ball attempts, and right now, Sain through 8 games has 27. But the crazy thing is that that's like 13.5% of Burrow's all of his attempts. And it's only 12.5% of all Sain's attempts right now. But the crazy thing is that Burrow had 22 completions. Sain has 20. So there's only two completion difference. And the completion percentage, Burrow was at about 63%, and Sain is at a whopping over 74%. Like that is mind-blowingly different.
And you can probably write that up to running less plays. Because I bet
I was told by college football nerds on Twitter that he can't throw the deep ball. So yeah, that can't be true, Brian.
We got into a debate about that. But the even crazier thing is just raw number. This is just a raw number. This is not adjusted for anything. Through 8 games, Sain actually has more deep yards than Burrow did through 8 games. Burrow had 745 yards. Julian Sain has 798 yards. Deep yards per attempt, Burrow 21.3, Sain 29.6, meaning that he's throwing it deeper than Burrow did. Deep TDs, Burrow 11, Sayin 10. But that doesn't tell the whole story. And I don't think I have it here. When you account for TD percentage, deep TD percentage, Sayin actually wins because he has less attempts. So he's throwing when he's throwing it deep, there's more TDs that are happening. These deep interceptions at this point. Burrow has thrown 1 through 8 games. Sayin has not thrown any. The BTT rate, that's your big time throw rate. Burrow edges him out slightly in there, so that's one area where Burrow wins. The turnover worthy plays, the TWP rate, Sayin wins. This is just saying that Sayin is he's controlling the ball better. He's not being crazy with the ball. He's throwing dimes. He's getting the ball perfectly where it needs to go. The deep PFF grade, Sayin is just edging Burrow out, 97.5 over 97. The deep quarterback rating, he blows Burrow out of the water by 20 points. Average depth target, average time to throw, they're almost about the same. And I equate this, Sayin is holding the ball for just a tick longer and he's processing just a little bit longer. I equate this to footwork. And the reason I do is if you read the article, the footwork is freaking crazy. This is where Sayin just is blowing Burrow out of the water because through 8 games, the sack rate, Burrow had taken 16 sacks, Sayin only 5. Pressure to sacks, it was 7, almost 18%. Julian Sayin 9%. Scrambles, Burrow was running around like a chicken with his head cut off at 21 scrambles. Sayin was 7. Throwaways, Burrow would not throw the ball away. He was at 2 and Sayin at 7. This is crazy. Sayin with less throws, and he's throwing the ball away seven times versus 2, has even a better percentage. That's wild to me. I don't know. Just please, and people talk about, people keep saying, well, who did he play? He hasn't played anybody. It's in the article. Read.
Right.
I'm gonna cuss again. Read the fucking article, okay?
11th, the 11th team in the country he's played. These are SEC fans that are downplaying an SEC team that if their team played them, they would prop up because they'd be such a great opponent. Then, we all know how that goes. But see, that's why I've always liked the comp that I've given him to Aaron Rodgers, because he plays like that guy. So he moves in the pocket just as well as Aaron Rodgers does. His accuracy is up there just like Aaron Rodgers is. He throws that beautiful flick of the wrist pass. It's like poetry in motion watching him throw. He's just got all these, and I like that Drew Brees comp too. I think that's a pretty good one as well. Obviously Joe had, Joe Brady as his OC. He had Randy Moss's kid at tight end. He had Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. He had really good weapons, and it was a lot different of a game in 2019 where you're trying to run as many plays as possible, score as many points as possible, and stuff. So that's going to be the differential there, and just because we slow rolled him from the Texas game kind of until week 4-ish where we started letting him loose a little bit more, but I don't know how anybody can say he's not a Heisman front runner right now, especially now that the Vegas odds are picking him as the favorite. Me and Steve saw it when we were at the open practice back in March. The kid just has it. He just has it. It's undeniable. And I wasn't surprised, but there is some parts of me that every time I watch him, I'm just like, wow, how is he doing that? You're muted.
I'm a little surprised with how good he is now. This is
I knew he was going to be great,
Heisman
but like,
level, you don't think that first year. You think,
Yeah.
he's going to be good. He's going to build into Heisman level for next year. Next year, we're supposed to be the championship year because
and
everyone's
probably
coming back.
probably still will be, which is crazy to say.
And look at this: Temple of Brutus, Purdue, total rushing yards, 1,281. Ohio State total rushing yards, 1,226.
Well, I
Who
mean,
would you say is the better team? Who would you say is the better team?
That's all Purdue has.
Purdue's played 9 games too, haven't they?
Well, it's not even that too. It's just like our offense is more pass oriented, and we still almost have as many yards as them, who they're way more rush oriented. Even though they rank worse in rushing than they do passing, but I mean, this is a team that that's really all they got.
Well,
because we took their offense.
When you take away Max player, kills your offense.
Their offense. Yeah.
Purdue's ranked 86th in the country in rushing yards per game.
Yeah. And they're passing 60. They're passing 64th.
And we're ranked 74th in rushing yards per game. So technically, we're ranked above them in rushing yards per game. So technically, we're better than them in rushing
per game. Yeah, because they had an extra game.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So normalized per game, we're actually better than them at rushing the ball.
Still, I mean, you look at that blindly without diving into it. You're like, if that's and you don't see which teams are next to them, then you're like, oh, probably the one with a little more rushing yards. But
and also Purdue is 73rd in rushing yards per attempt. They're 73rd. And like I said, what are we, like 46?
46, yeah.
The only thing Purdue's better than us at is kicking and punting. Their kicker can hit a 50-yarder. That's it. So, I mean, this
we don't need a kicker.
This will be over by halftime.
I guess we need a kicker, but
this will be man, you're giving me New Year's Eve trauma.
Yeah.
Talking about kickers and not needing kickers.
We do. And I pray they start to realize, like, hey, we need to get like a little fund off to the side for the best kicker and punter we can find in the portal every year.
I still want to go kidnap that kid from Wisconsin, man.
I would even take the punter from Penn State. That guy's a unit, dude. He's huge. I'll take anybody. Anybody's better than what we got. So let's get that figured out next year, because I don't want to
get better. Let's get better as the year goes on.
Bad kicking in general has cost us 2 huge games in the last couple years. So it's just like, gotta get that going. It's wild to me. 2,274 passing yards total. 2,000. So basically, offense pretty equal. No, I mean, listen, stats are great. They don't tell the whole story though. Watch the film. I mean, that like the film will show you who the better passing team is. I mean, if at worst we're maybe on par rushing the ball with them, but I think that just more so has to do with the fact we're forcing running backs like C.J. Donaldson on the field when really we should be more focused on having Bo Jackson as Isaiah West on the field predominantly.
Remember, Bo Jackson needs to be saved a little bit more.
He does.
That ankle injury.
He does.
And still coming off that. So, I saw places where people were asking for, 20 yards or 20 carries a game. That got laughed at. It's going to be 15 or less. And
you don't need him getting that many. Like 15,
you see what happened to Haynes, right?
Yeah. He's not going to get 15 against Purdue either. I just don't see it.
If he gets 11 or 12 a carry, I think that's the max.
Now, once we get into the playoffs or Big Ten championship, maybe even Michigan if it's needed, however many carries they need, he's going to do it.
Yeah,
but you're not going to see that in the next 3 games.
I think Day will be a lot more comfortable this year throwing the ball against the team up north, because he has a quarterback that can really maneuver that pocket, and we're getting great protection, and we're not going to have to worry about 2 defensive tackles that are first rounders this time. So
for sure. And
I think it's going to look a lot prettier.
Like I said, you're going to see the offense starting to know their identity and build on that identity. And now it's past that point in the season where you're going to build on something else, because it's really just, you had your 2 bye weeks. It's time to put the pedal to the metal, and you're going to see the offense continue to open up a little bit more every game from here on out.
And it's like, I know that whole statistic, 20-some games in a row where the rushing leaders won the game in this rivalry, but it's like
18.
But it's like, listen, there's been times where the leading rusher in the game doesn't win the game. Just stick with what you know. Stop trying to beat them at their own game. Go in there with what your strengths are and destroy them with it. Because in reality, we should be able to beat this team by 3 touchdowns at minimum. So go do it.
Right. Well, also too, there's nothing in that statistic that doesn't say you don't throw the ball first early. Blow them out, and then you're running the ball later to overcome the rushing stat to still be that team that has the more rushing yards at the end of the game. You know, you don't have to pound it in the middle, you know, first, second, you know, down every single drive to try to overcome that statistical, you know, barrier. You know, just play your game, and the rest will take care of itself.
All right.
Yeah, just use the right running back if you're going to go up the gut.
Let's get back to this. Let's get back to Purdue. Score prediction. Alex, you want to go first? This is what the model has. The model has 41-6. The current spread is 29.5. Ohio State has beat the spread since the Michigan game last year.
Do you, Brian? Do you remember what your model said last week? Wasn't it around the same?
41-5.
Yeah, it was 41-5, and I think I had put out a post saying, like, even you mentioned it, but for that
gimme that spotted points,
that fumble, you know, they end up getting you know 7 points off of that because they're you know right by the goal line.
Yeah,
we would end up kicking a field goal, you know, maybe at the end of the half. The model might have been right almost spot on. So I mean, you know, you don't account for quirky stuff like that.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's why you play the game, right?
Yeah, I had the score last week at 38-7, and if it weren't for that, I would have been dead on.
That's pretty awesome.
So this week, I think your model is pretty spot on. I think it's going to be like 45-3. I think there's going to be a drive where we have to kick once. I'll have a hot take. I don't think we're going to punt once unless it's like late in the game and we have our second, third string in and we just stall out for a drive. I don't think we're going to punt at all. So I think it'll be 45-3. I think we'll be able to hit a 40 bomb on this team. And if they don't score, I won't be surprised.
All right, Brian.
You know, when I built the model and this popped out, I went back and looked back at the scores, and I was kind of shocked, honestly, that it was 41-6, because I don't think Purdue's that bad of a team. I mean, yeah, the numbers pop out, but you look at who they played. I mean, shit, man. I mean, they played Michigan tough. It was 21-16. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does that say more about Michigan or does that say more about Purdue? I think
it says more about Team Up North, because if Purdue had just gotten one first down before halftime, it's 7-7 going in a half, and they only won by 5.
Sure.
They ended up scoring right before half, so they might have got upset by Purdue. I think that just speaks more to the Wolverines being a bad team. I'm not saying Purdue doesn't have the capabilities to pull off upsets. Obviously they do. I was more worried about it with Jeff Brom as their coach, though, as opposed to what they have now. If they still have Jeff Brom as their head coach, I'd be like, guys, see those red alarms on this prediction model post? Yeah, we got to keep our eyes really open, because Jeff Brom's just good at beating good teams.
Right.
So, and I mean, against Miami. Yeah.
I mean,
solid against us in 2018.
I mean, that's fair, but then, I mean, that would make it an anomaly, right? But then you look at Minnesota. I think Minnesota is a decent team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, 27-20. They played. I mean, that's a decent score, right? I mean, Okay, Notre Dame. Sure, they got blown out by Notre Dame, but I mean, they put 30 points up on Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame's defense is really bad. They're really bad. They're not great, which is surprising because Chris Ash is their DC. I thought that they were going to be able to maintain, and their defense has gotten shredded.
All right, before you pick, we got some more stats from Temple of Brutus. Purdue total tackles 617. Ohio State total tackles 471. Looks like Purdue has a better defense.
I love it.
Their tackles more.
That's because their defense is dog doo-doo and they're having to tackle more.
It's because they have one extra game and their defense is always on the field.
Yeah, Purdue has 21 sacks on opponents. Ohio State has 25. This game could go either way.
I love it.
I'm kind of surprised we're only at 25. We did have a game where we didn't get one.
I mean, and we did throw the flag, right? We throw the statistical challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue actually is ranked pretty high in the nation in getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, and tackles for a loss.
Yep. So
33rd tackles for a loss, right?
Yeah, they're pretty good. So with that being said, I'm going to stick with the model because I do think for with that being said, I do think Ohio State is a good team. I just wanted to make a point that it seems like whenever Ohio State plays somebody and they beat them, they're just like, that team just sucks. And granted, Purdue is not a great team, but I just want to point out, Michigan, 21-16. Rutgers, for whatever it's worth, 27-14. Minnesota, a good team, 27-14. They put up 30 against Notre Dame. This is not a horrible Purdue team.
What was the score against Notre Dame?
56-30. So they did give us 56 points, but they did put up 30 points against Notre Dame.
Tom Brady tried to stick with the model. We all know that doors.
I love
Temple of Brutus.
That's funny.
Tom Brady tried to stick with the model. We all know how that turned out. Divorce.
Yeah, here's the thing though. Obviously, I think the defense letting up 14 last week, even though those one touchdown they let up before half wasn't their fault. Let's face it. It was the offense and the refs' fault because the refs don't know how to blow whistle for forward progress being stopped. I think that left a little bad taste in their mouth, and obviously you saw at the end of the game they were hell bent on not letting them score over 20. This defense has a lot of pride, and obviously that's because of who those players are as individuals and together as a unit, but because of Matt Patricia as well. I mean, they will do anything to defend that end zone for that guy. So, I mean, Purdue might get some big plays here and there. They tend to do that sometimes against us, but I mean, it's going to look a lot like last year's.
And really that's why you guys, I mean, all these stats that have been thrown at me. So I changed my opinion a little bit about what the score is going to be. And I'm going to go with 49-0.
Fair.
Because of that defense.
Could happen.
I think that they're just itching. I think that they have a drive, which is second to none. And I think they're still pissed off about Penn State.
They got to lower that average again now. It got a little higher. So they're we got to lower that.
K-Mac coming in with the most snaps he's ever taken in his career. He had 8 tackles. He's going to be able to plug that middle. They're not running in there. Teams are starting to run outside. And it doesn't matter because we're stacked on stacked on stacked. There's elite players at every position on this defense, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if they're pissed off and playing with authority against a team like Purdue, they're going to show you that this is the best defense in the nation, and they're ready to win another title and go back to back.
And they showed it during the game. They showed all the teams who through 8 games that let up less than 17 points during their first 8 games, all have won a natty. And because we kept them to 14, we now joined that club of one of now 4 teams ever, 4 or 5 teams, to hold their first 8 opponents under 17 points. So
let's
the team has pride.
Let's transition. We got another article by Brian coming out, but before we do, we talked about the score. Let's get Cody Croy on here. talk about the score, talk about Buckeyes in the NFL and future Buckeyes. Cody, putting you on the spot, man. What's your score? Score prediction right away. No thinking.
That's 42-3.
Nice. All right, Cody.
42-3. That's
42-3. I'll take it.
I trust the D, and I think the offense is going to explode. So, hopefully.
Here we go. I will take that. All right. Buckeyes in the NFL. Let's start there. Is that cool with you? You want to go with Buckeyes in the NFL first?
Yeah, sure.
Buckeyes in the big league. Let's do it.
So the rookies, we got a couple of interceptions this week. Denzel Burke saved the game for the Cardinals. They would go on to win, and that was because of him. Got it with, I believe, just over a minute left. So they were able to just run out the clock, and so they
Cardinals. Cardinals are what I like to call Buckeye West.
Yeah.
They love the Buckeyes.
They have,
and the Steelers do too, obviously.
Yeah.
If you didn't see that repost, man, Coach Tomlin, this is why I go to Columbus, Ohio. So go ahead. Sorry to steal your thunder.
No, you're good. Let's see. We had Draymond Jones. He had 1.5 sacks. We had Jackson Smith and Jigba. He had 8 catches, 112 yards and a touchdown, I believe.
Yeah, you just put that on repeat.
He didn't. I don't think he had a touchdown this game.
JSN.
He did not. No, he did not have a touchdown.
Just
unfortunately, I needed it in fantasy. I needed it. Of course, you didn't get one.
Marvin Harrison did 8 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown.
Beautiful route. Beautiful route.
Yeah. And then rounding out the Buckeyes in the NFL, we had Jack Sawyer. He got his first career pick.
Oh man,
for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Jack Sawyer. It's fun to see him do good.
Yeah. Hey, I remember another takeaway he got.
Oh yeah.
Still hoping.
Remind me. I could relive that.
Scoop and score.
The
scoop and score and dagger.
Man, that is a play you could watch forever.
On a loop.
Still hoping JTT eventually makes an impact with the Colts.
They're not really playing him, and he's not making the impact.
They're so good. All of a sudden.
They are
crazy.
Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes.
Yeah. They just traded for Sauce Gardner too. So
Josh Downs isn't getting his love.
Yeah. They got Pittman, they got Pierce, they got a lot of weapons on that offense.
Well, and Downs just changed his number. He's now same number as Caleb.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't
know. Because Sauce took his number.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. When did that happen?
Probably just a day or
yesterday.
2 ago. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Probably had to pay him for it. That's how they usually do it. They're like, hey, give me $1 million, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That's throwaway money, bro. That's throwaway money.
For sure. Pocket change. So, Buckeyes, future Buckeyes. Let's transition there. We go from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum. We're talking
about know who to start with.
Who we starting with?
You know who to start with this week because you got stats for him this week. Let's go.
Oh, Chris Henry Jr. Yeah,
there we go. You knew it. 5
catches, 213 yards.
5 catches.
And 2 touchdowns. He was unbelievable. They beat St. John Bosco, so they move on. Number 1 team in the country.
Huge
modern day, they have 2 losses, so we kind of thought maybe they're cooling off a little bit, but apparently not.
Maybe they're not the best team in the country. Oh, wait, they are.
But the guy that I was most impressed with this week was Luke Fahey. 5 touchdown passes, 569 yards.
My goodness, who do you play?
His team scored 76 points.
Luke.
We're getting into playoff territory too. Yeah. So that's insane.
Yeah, pretty nuts.
All right.
Crazy.
Anyone else?
Quay Guilford, I believe he had 6 catches, 113 yards and a touchdown. So he also had a nice performance as well. And that about does it for high school Buckeyes.
Yeah, I mean, we're in playoffs now. Some of these teams are going to get eliminated.
Our boy from Quinn Ewers' alma mater didn't play this week.
Boyd, he didn't. He wasn't as involved this week. He had 4 catches, 40 yards, so not quite as involved this week.
Even the best have to take a game off every now and then. Rest them up.
Killing it every week.
Rest them up for the big games. Yeah, maybe it's a small time game. They're giving them some load management.
Yeah, I agree.
Ready to take it to state. I don't know.
But
so,
cool.
What's going on, Brian? You want to tell us about an article you have coming out today?
Yeah, actually, it's out now. Want to thank our editor for
editor in chief TJ, the man, for getting it out. Hey, he got that out right before going on vacation, so
he did. Yeah, so thank you very much for pushing that out. So I I sit around and I crunch numbers and I put out stupid posts, and I still call them tweets, so excuse me. But I put out stupid tweets sometimes, and I just crunch numbers. And I put out this post the other day, and sometimes just things catch fire. And this post got 150,000 impressions, and it was wild. And it got me thinking, can Jeremiah Smith actually break all 3 of the main records this year? So I got to thinking, we got 4 regular season games. If we make it to the Big Ten championship game, that's a 5th game. Assuming we get a bye in the CFP and 3 games and the Natty, if we make it to the Natty, that's 8 games. So I did all the math. I went to the official Ohio State site, which unfortunately hasn't been updated since 2002. But I try to get as many of the updated stats as possible. So this is what we have. Emeka Egbuka is career receptions leader at 205. Michael Jenkins is the career yards leader at 2,898. Chris Olave career TDs at 35. With where Jeremiah Smith sits right now, this is the crazy thing. I did the math. At 8 games, to break all 3 of those records this year at the national championship game, if we went to the national championship game. And where's the national championship game, by the way, guys?
Well, that's in
Miami.
Where is Jeremiah Smith from?
Somewhere down
Florida.
south.
He's from Hollywood.
Florida Express.
Hollywood,
Florida.
So how special would it be if he broke 1, 2, or 3 of these records? This is what he needs to average for receptions. If he averaged 9.4 receptions for the next 8 games, he would be the all-time Ohio State career receptions leader by the end of the season if he averaged 9.4 receptions. That's a little bit of a stretch, but the last 2 games, let's put this into context. For the season, he's averaging 7, but over the last 2 games since Brian Hartline started opening up the offense, he's averaging 7.5 receptions. For yards, if he averages 107.4 yards per game over the next 8 games, he will become the all-time leader in yards for Ohio State. For the season, he's averaging 90.6, but for the last 2 games, he's averaging 110 yards. So in the last 2 games, since Brian Hartline has opened up and allowed Sayan to pass the ball down the field, he is averaging more yards than he needs to break the record by the end of the season. And for touchdowns, I know this is a little bit of stretch, but we saw what they did in the 3 playoff games, first 3 playoff games. We saw what he did last game. Over the next 8 games, if Jeremiah Smith averages 1.5 touchdowns a game, which I know that's crazy, but if he does average 1.5 touchdowns a game over the next 8 games, he will become the all-time Ohio State leader in touchdown receptions. So if he averages what's that?
As a sophomore.
As a sophomore.
That's wild.
So
and just so you know, I posted your article in the comments. If anyone wants to get on there and read it or share it, even, that would be awesome.
So again, just to recap, if we have 8 games, if he averages 9.4 receptions, 174 yards per game, and 1.5 touchdowns per game, and we have 8 games, he will now own all 3 records by the end of his sophomore season.
And even if he doesn't, it's inevitable that he's going to have all 3.
Even if
and he's going to make them so
one.
large. Yeah,
even if he just gets one
so
this
large.
year, that's wild. One of those records is crazy to do as a sophomore.
Yeah, he might end up making those unreachable for anybody else.
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
If he doesn't win the Biletnikoff, throw away the award. Throw it away.
Yeah, there's no use in even having
that.
it.
Tennessee wide receiver does not deserve it. I'm sorry.
So, Cody also, I know I've mentioned it before. Cody puts out these articles every week too. Buckeyes in the big league. He's got the week 9 recap here. If you want to go check that out, also.
By the way, can I give some props to Donovan Jackson for the Vikings?
Yeah,
that man is playing insane for a rookie.
Yeah.
He's the only reason JJ McCarthy stays alive. Go figure, a Buckeye having to save a Wolverine.
I wish I could highlight some of the offensive linemen, but I don't. It's so hard to find stats.
Yeah, stats for them
to really depict just how impactful they are.
Yeah,
Cody.
Yeah,
I got your article, Buckeyes in the Big League, in the chat too. So if anyone wants to check that out as well, man, these are some great articles. You guys got to start checking out college football backers. It's cfbackers.com. Check it out. It's worth a read every single time. And if you like college football in general, there's something for everyone.
There's also one last tidbit in the article that we did find that I think is kind of cool. If we want to share that too. So, and doing the research about Jeremiah Smith, his birthday is November 29th. He'll be 20 years old. He'll be 20 years old on November 29th. And we all know what happens on November 29th. What day this year, what game falls on November 29th?
It's all adding up.
The stars aligning.
Right?
It's got to happen, right?
He will hopefully get his first pair of gold pants on his birthday.
God. It's got to happen.
No better birthday present than that, right?
Absolutely.
He wants that so bad too.
Yeah.
I think
that's crazy.
I think Patricia. I can't wait for that week because I want to hear the questions Patricia gets asked by the media, because there's got to be a part of him in the back of his head that says, all those people up there really hate me for something that wasn't entirely my fault. So I think he really wants to embarrass them. And I know Jeremiah does. So please, God, let it happen. I can't wait, but I'm also like nervous because last year should have been it too. And we just said, here, take it. Just beat him, embarrass him, please. So I can talk so much shit. I need it.
That's why you want to. You just want to talk some shit.
I want to call them poverty so bad and have it mean something instead of just me sounding like a crybaby about it.
I'm
tired.
Like the Spurs are just aligning, right?
Have to
Miami for the national title.
I was hoping we'd get Miami in Miami. I thought that would have been funny, but of course they Miami'd. And like I told everybody they would when they were saying that's the best team in the country. I said, pump the brakes. Mario Cristobal is still Mario Cristobal. Miami is still Miami. Give it time. 2 losses later, probably a third coming up. Shocker.
That's all insane. Well, boys, I think we covered it all for a Wednesday night, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
UCLA game is a night game too, so that's great coming up.
Oh, that's the other thing. Purdue at 1:00. When's the last time Ohio State has played at 1:00?
Yeah,
I think a year or two or so ago we
bowl
did.
Games. They did it bowl games, but not a regular season game.
But there was a game like that a year or two ago too that we started at like 4:30 instead of 3:30, I think it's just because of the Central Time thing.
I think it's viewership.
Might be too, yeah.
You could catch Ohio State in the middle of that, like if there's blowouts at 12 o'clock or bad games at 12 o'clock. It's the first time since 2005 Ohio State has played a regular season game at 1 o'clock. They'll do bowl games at 1 o'clock, of course.
Yeah,
but crazy.
But
did you not to keep us here any longer, but just want to give a plug about the model. Model picked LSU
Absolutely.
28 over Alabama 25 outright. So we'll see how that turns out.
I would laugh.
Say that again, outright?
Yeah, it was outright. What wasn't even the spread thing. We have LSU outright beating Alabama 28-25.
It's at Death Valley. I guess it could happen. Maybe they'll play more inspired without that loser as their head coach. Can't wait. Yeah, can't wait for him to get like a Conference USA job because nobody else wants to hire him. But worst, like, oh man, just everybody coming out, like even former LSU players that didn't even play for him, just talking about how awful of a human being that guy is.
Where's he gonna land after comments like that?
Some team like a MSU, if they fired their coach, would probably take him just because they're like, okay, he's better than what we've had since D'Antonio.
He'll be in Ann Arbor tomorrow.
Jeez.
What?
Yeah, and that game's actually that game's in Alabama. That's in Alabama, right?
Oh, it is? I thought it was at LSU. Okay,
no,
well,
Alabama.
But yeah, oh god, if the Wolverines ever hired him, that would make beating them so much more enjoyable. It really would. I would love that.
Me too.
I hope that happens.
Even just like a assistant coach or something.
Yeah,
that would be funny.
We'll see. Keep them away from Columbus.
Stay on here if you want to chat afterwards, you guys, for a little bit. If not, peace out. God bless. So let's get off here and let everyone have a good rest of their work evening. Take care. God bless. OH.
All right.
I-O. Go Bucks.
Peace out. On to the next.